So I'm trying to be a little more consistent about making videos in the near future. For example, this video has a script, and it's a video I originally planned to make about 3 months ago. I am here today to talk about the Sennheiser HD600. This is definitely a necessary review. These things haven't been reviewed to death already. My perspective might be a little different than some, though, as this is me not liking Sennheiser and giving them a second chance. I had a Bluetooth set from them years ago, and suffice to say, this is a far cry from the overly complex yet still underwhelming and unreliable HD 450 BT. The sound is exceptional, first off. No headphone gets universal praise. That's like one of the core principles of my channel besides let's take everything apart. But these things get damned close. Reviewers that generally disagree with each other will still generally agree that these are pretty freaking good. The bass isn't overly prominent, but it's precise and eloquent. It has a good expression of sub-bass as well, leading to an appreciable kick from headphones that are not bassy, like at all. The mid-range is pretty flat. It's clearly enunciated and natural sounding. Longtime viewers will know that I love that. A flat mid-range does a lot to make one's music sound realistic, and this range is really the strong suit of this headphone in my opinion. The treble isn't overly harsh, but it's very present and clear. It's articulate, really leading to the sensation of the band being in the same room with you. All over the spectrum, though, the standout is the depth of the soundstage. I rarely mention the perception of space in the mix because, for the most part, it seems to be basically an illusion, created by a wide variety of factors, both intrinsic and extrinsic to the headphones, that are really hard to quantify scientifically. These factors vary wildly between different recordings and even different listeners. The Sennheiser HD600, however, seems to routinely do very well in this regard. It's close to the depth that can be expressed by planar magnetics, I guess thanks to the ultra-light moving assemblies. The fit. These things are aggressively cuddly. They hold much tighter than most audiophile grade stuff, and especially being open backs, like, you're not going to wear these at the gym if you're a sensible person, so why do they do that? Nonetheless, they're not uncomfortable. The increased clamping force, at least on my head, is spread out pretty well. These cushions are pretty nice, though of course there are a lot of aftermarket bits for these things as well if you don't like them. The construction is also just fascinating. I'm going to do a couple of disassembly videos on these, I think, because these are actually a decent candidate for timed disassembly. But suffice to say, the ultralight moving assemblies are due to a fully aluminum voice coil, which I consider to be very neat, and this design is almost exclusively negative space. I've never seen anything quite like it before. I can only imagine this was a doctoral thesis or just an unthinkable amount of math, probably both. So, downsides. Well, there's the traditional lack of soundproofing, since these are open backs. These are meant for a quiet studio or an empty room. It's basically the end of the list, but that's like expected from this category of headphones. The cable. I hate the cable. It feels cheaper than I'd like, and it's pretty long. These are meant to be just plugged into a mixing desk. This cable is not convenient for like relaxing at the couch and listening to music, really. Notably, it is detachable though, and it's a common aftermarket item. These connectors are polarized somehow, although I cannot myself see how. There's got to be asymmetry in them somewhere, but you can't really plug them in wrong, so that's nice. In terms of durability, I have to say these metal grills here are very, very thin. They bend with very little persuasion. That doesn't matter, of course. They still work when they're bent, but these are meant for professional use, and I'd personally like a little more integrity out of them. They're kind of meant to be like a workhorse. I mean, the impedance, 300 ohms. These are meant for an amplifier. You can get them to work out of most modern stuff with just a little bit of extra volume, but they won't sound their best. The bass will tend to drop off a little bit. Amplifier is a really good idea. I still love these things, though. Sennheiser has indeed won some respect from me. These lightweight, overly affectionate ear cups full of space future nonsense are very, very capable conduits for any style of music or indeed audio in general. Thus concludes my extremely non-redundant view. Thank you for watching. Consider liking and subscribing. I hope you have a nice evening.